Okay, hello everybody. This is Mike here again. So this is my one of my continuing series of videos, how-tos for teachers, kids, parents who are interested in STEM, STEAM, stream education. So lately, I've been getting a lot of questions and inquiries from kids, teachers, parents on what Tinkercad is, how to use Tinkercad. Uh, should my kids learn Tinkercad? And I'm always saying yes, yes, yes. And so I figured I would do a quick intro to Tinkercad to show people what Tinkercad is and how easy it is, uh, especially parents. If you're a parent out there and you don't know anything about 3D design, CAD design, so on, just start playing around with Tinkercad. It's free, it's online. You don't have to download anything. All you have to do is set up account through your email, and you set up for your kids. Um, there's a lot of good videos and tutorials and everything on Tinkercad and how to use it. Uh, Tinkercad's pretty simple and easy. I've seen really young kids get really good at it after only a few hours of playing around with it. So if you're a parent, I would definitely encourage you to introduce your kids, even at younger ages, 4, 5, 6, to Tinkercad, and so they can start playing around and using it. And that way, when they get into high school, uh, they'll have some foundation in 3D design and 3D printing. So I may do a few videos on Tinkercad, but I'll kind of introduce some basic topics. So let me share my screen as normal. Bring up Tinkercad. So like I said, Tinkercad is an online web-based CAD program. Let me start from the beginning here. So go to the just type in Tinkercad to your favorite web browser, internet, the search engine. Like I said, Tinkercad's got all these kind of cool lessons and plans, and even has like lesson plans for teachers and parents, especially during the summer. If your kids don't have anything to do, have them sit down and go through all the tutorials and set up lesson plans for them. Maybe do maybe a few parents get together uh, and teach Tinkercad to their kids. And it's I think it's a really cool introduction to CAD design. So there's 3D design, circuits, code blocks, and then here's the lessons and stuff. So I can get into circuits and code blocks later. They're also very cool stuff for young kids. But so all you need to do is just create an account for Tinkercad with an email, so that way you can store your designs online. So there's different, like I said, code blocks, and I can get into stuff later, but let's just go into design. So create a new design. So here's basically the basic work plane. And this is where you'll be designing your object. They always create these goofy names. You can actually change the name and make it more relevant to what you're creating. So one of the things that kids love about Tinkercad is it comes with all these different pre-created generated shapes. So you get these basic shapes. You can see down this drop-down menu, Tinkercad basic shapes. You got all these little basic shapes that they can play around with and join together and all do kinds of cool stuff. And so you don't have to design these things. They're already there for you. So that's one of the cool things, because you can jump right into just playing around and printing stuff out. You can print out these basic shapes. If you need a test object for a 3D printer. These basic shapes are great test objects. So you got texts and numbers, characters. This is great. You explore these. So you have like already pre-created characters that you can, this is like just like a blank character that you can start playing around with, which is really cool. So what I'm doing here right now, so let me do that again. Let me show you what I did. So let's say I want to bring in this blanky character. Let's start playing around with them and modify them and use them. So left click on him, left click and hold and drag him over and just drop him down on the work plane. Now, if you want to navigate around him, right click and hold on the work plane and just move around your mouse so you can see him fall different directions. Pretty simple. This is just right mouse click and hold. The other thing you can do is this little box over here. You can look at from the front, right, back. So I'm left clicking and holding on the box, and you can do the same thing. And then this home button right here, click on that. Like the default view. The next one basically brings the entire object, expands it out to it fits the view. Then you can zoom in and zoom out with the plus and minus keys. Very simple. Now, I haven't used this view that much, but you can also do this too. It might help you a little bit. Pretty simple. And then you can move eyes and stuff and place eyes and stuff on them. This is where the experimenting and the fun part comes in. You just have a lot of little cool things you can do with this blanket. I would kind of recommend just kind of playing like I'm doing right now. So, like I said, I love all these characters, pre-generated stuff that you can play around with and use. I'm just deleting them using the garbage can. Lots of cool things that you can use. Pre-generated stuff. So you can get up and producing stuff that you can print really quickly. And I could probably just spend hours just going through all the different cool little stuff that you can find. They're just basic shapes. And like I said, just play around, just go through the library and just find check out all the basic shapes that you can use. A lot of this you don't have to reinvent the wheel on a lot of this stuff. It's already there. That's why it makes it great for people who just getting into 3D design. So let me show you a couple cool things that you can do. I've already kind of showed you the delete button. The undo button, undo arrows. Let's say you make a mistake. And you're like, I don't like that. I messed up. I don't like that. So just click the back arrow and back it out. Just don't try to back out quickly. Don't do lots of mistakes and then have to hopefully back out a lot. Okay, so I usually, when I first start showing stuff off to kids and teachers, what I usually do is I usually take like a basic shape here, like the box. Remember, left click on it and then left click and hold. Drop it on your work plane. So it's unselected here. So when you click on it, you get all these different arrows. So do you want to know the dimensions? Right now I'm set up that these grids are 1 millimeter. Grid size is 1 millimeter. So when you click on these boxes, the white boxes, see how it gives you the dimensions? Let's do that again. There we go. So that's 20 millimeters or 2 centimeters. So that box is 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters. Okay. You can see how I'm getting the dimensions. Now, I want to make it bigger. There's a couple ways to make it bigger. So see how on the shape here, you can actually lock the shape down so you can't change it. So I want to here, see how it's 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters. See, I can actually increase it here with these keys. See how I'm doing that? That's kind of easy to do. Or you can actually use the black squares, or you can use the corner ones will do both dimensions. The black squares will do one dimension at a time. See how I'm doing that? Increasing the size of it. And this is the height one. See how I did the height? So don't click on the pyramid, because that just moves the object up and down. Okay. Let me keep it here for a second. This is kind of hard to do. See how when I click on these arrows, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to turn it. And then I can use the mouse wheel button to zoom in and zoom out. I think that's pretty cool. So these are some kind of the basic stuff you can do. So let me, oh, actually I like the cylinder for this. Let me show you the cylinder. Okay. I'm going to make this, see how you can toggle from solid to whole and back. I like to use the cylinder for this example, but I'm going to take a cylinder, I'm going to left click on it, I'm going to expand it out. Nothing fancy. So I basically have a cylinder. Now I'm going to take another cylinder. You can do this a couple different ways, but I'm just going to take the cylinder. I'm going to make it a hole. Now, so I'm going to put a hole in the cylinder. So it's like going to be like a donut. So I want to left click on the work plane, left click and hold, and then drag and select both objects. Now this is really cool. I think this is really cool. So this is the align function. So left click and hold on the work plane and drag it to select both objects. Then once you get both objects selected like this, click on this align. Now watch what happens. So you click on this one and it puts the hole right in there. It's not perfect, but it's close. And then click out. So basically I put a hole in there. I put a hole or donut in the middle of my donut, in the middle of my cylinder. It's not perfect. And then once you selected everything, see you got two objects right now. You don't have one, you have two shapes. So then you click on the group or Control G group. So your object now becomes one. Didn't quite align perfectly, so you got to play around with it. I think my object's a little off there. But that's a quick way to take one object. This is a pretty classic thing to do in a 3D CAD design program. Take one object and take another, make it a hole or make it empty space, and then put it into that object and create a hole. So let me show you how to do that again. I'm going to select this and make it just a little bit bigger. I think my proportions are a little bit off. There we go. Take another object, whichever object you want to use. You can actually use the sphere if you want or whatever. Then line it here. Left click and drag. Click on the align function. There we go. That's better. Make that a hole. Make the inside object a hole. You can even make the outside object a hole, whatever you want to do. Then once you've got the hole there, select both objects, both shapes, then click on the group by. So there you go. That's a little bit better. And I'm just clicking and holding the right mouse button to check it out. Then just remember, you can check out the dimensions. These are in millimeters. You can rotate. I'm actually rotating. See how I'm rotating on the work plane? So you can rotate like this, and then rotate like this, and then rotate like this. Pretty simple. Okay, so, and then let me show you another really easy thing to do. Kids like this. Let's create a name tag. So we take the text. Come on. Whoop. A little bit of delay there. Click on the text. You can actually collect different, click on different styles of text. You see how this text box right here? I'm going to type in my name. And the cool, when you do it this way, it makes it all proportion. Proportion looks great. So there's my name. Let's take another basic shape. Oh yeah. Polygon. Now I'm going to make the polygon bigger than my name. And you'll see why here in a second. Now I want to make the polygon a little bit. I don't want to make it too tall. Okay, left click and drag so I get both of them. This align thing will work right. See? It's not perfect, but it's really close. Yeah, there we go. You can align it a little bit. By using these little circles. So I got those by clicking on the, clicking on a line. Okay. Now that I have my name basically above my name tag like this, it's all set up. Then I left click, hold, and drag, select both shapes, and then group by. So now I have basically a name tag, which I can print out. Something very easy. So just in a few minutes, not a long time, we've learned how to group by, get your measurements, view your objects, do some basic editing, create like a donut, create a hole in an object. But the big thing is if you have multiple objects, you all combine it together. Make sure you left click, drag on everything, and then select the group. So everything's grouped together, and that way you can just all print it out. And in the background, my object's being saved in the background. So real quick, I also get the questions of how do I print this out? That's really simple too. So go to the export button up here. You can export it as a couple different files for laser cutting, for 3D printing. I usually just use the .stl file. That's what works for my 3D printer. So I click on .stl. Okay, so it's got downloaded. So I'll go to my slicing program. I use this Creality slicer because I have Creality printer. I can show you my printer in future. So let's clear my platform. Might take a second. There we go. The Creality slicers has got lots of similar functions to the okay, we don't have to worry about all these settings. Well, let's load model. Should be in my download folder. My download folder. What's going on there? There it is right there. Open it. So there's my name tag, all ready to 3D print. All I need to do now is, I don't have an SD card in my laptop right now, but all I have to, once I get an SD card, it even tells me how long it's going to print and 28 grams of plastic. If I had an SD card, all I have to do is put the SD card in the reader and then click on this save, and it'll save it to the SD card, which then I can put into my printer and print it out. Very simple. So if you have a 3D printer, I can go over this in another video about the steps you need, all the steps you need to do and how to print it out. But that's just kind of basically how you do it. I can actually import. Oh, I'm going to clear. I want to get rid of that. I can import a shape. Let's go back to my downloads. Let's pick something cool. Yep, millimeters, import. It may take a few minutes, depending on how complicated your object is. So you can actually you can actually download other files. So this is Apollo them file. And I can do some modifications or do whatever I want with this thing. Make it bigger, smaller, add stuff to it. All kinds of little cool stuff I can do with it. So you can import files into here and design and play around with them. So I would recommend that if you're a parent, that you play around with this a little bit and then help your kids learn how to use it, work with some of the tutorials and libraries and stuff and lessons plans. If you're a teacher, I think there's even a well-documented lesson plan guide for you to use online so that each student will log on with their own account so they can save their files, and then they can start out playing around with Tinkercad. So I might do a few more videos here showing you maybe some more advanced topics, but that's usually most of the questions I get are just basic editing, using the basic shapes, making holes, grouping bys, joining stuff together, creating text. That's usually most of the basic questions I get. So in the future, I could do some more, a little more advanced videos on editing and so on, and creating complicated, cool objects and so on. So I definitely would encourage you, if you're a parent or teacher, to play around with it. It's not that hard. It don't like I've seen really young kids learn this. So as a parent and teacher, don't be scared of the software. You'll be surprised how easy it is to use, how quickly you get up 3D printing. If you have a 3D printer, this is a quick way to start designing objects for yourself to 3D print out. So you're not relying on other people to make your designs. It's a great skill to learn. I definitely would encourage kids to start learning this as early as 4, 5, 6 years old. So they'll be ready in high school to use more advanced stuff like Fusion 360, Autodesk, some of the other stuff. Hopefully, I think it's Autodesk that maintains the software. Hopefully, they won't listen to this because or listen to my recommendations, because I'm always afraid that they'll start charging for this. Right now, it's free. It's a really cool software for free software, but everything is free. Hopefully, in the future, they continue to keep it free, so that everybody can access to it, play around with it, and have fun with it. Don't be worried or scared. Just jump in, start editing. If you make mistakes, you can use the back arrow to back out, or you can just delete and start over. It's good to make mistakes and make errors. You learn from those. Just start playing. It's my best advice. So hopefully that helped you out. If you're interested in Tinkercad, start playing around with it. In the comment section of this video, if you have any questions, suggestions, if you want to know how to do something, you're confused about something, feel free to leave comments, and then that'll give me some ideas, or I can answer these questions in future videos. I'll probably, like I said, do a couple more videos on Tinkercad. So I hope that, again, I hope this helped you out, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.